Okay, now the PERKZ Carlos drama, which I think is just weird. So basically what happened between PERKZ and Carlos was when G2 sold PERKZ to C9, they put a clause in the contract that said C9 can't sell PERKZ to Fnatic for 3 years. That was a clause in the contract. Yeah? G2 sold PERKZ to C9. Yeah? Good. And what they did was they put a clause in it basically saying that PERKZ contract runs out on 2023 for C9, which means he can't be on Fnatic until 2024. And he can't be sold to Fnatic during the contract.
Is mama milk? Yum.
That's basically what Carlos put in the contract. Yeah, Sam Matthews tweeted it. In 2024, you can do whatever you want, my Padawan. Basically talking to PERKZ. Someone did a really funny tweet because Riot was supposed to look through the contract. Because in the buyout agreement, when C9... Here's the TLDR. When G2 sold PERKZ to C9, Riot looked at the contract. Riot Global found that the contract caused no harm to PERKZ's prospects. And someone tweeted this. I think this was the most underrated banger I've ever seen. This was Riot checking PERKZ's contract. Absolute underrated banger. Underrated banger. This guy came out with the fucking banger of the century. So a clause in G2 and Cloud9's buyout agreement signed late in 2020 for PERKZ prevented the team from sending him to Fnatic for a period of 3 years, beginning in November 2020 and lasting until the end of the 2023 season. Fnatic filed a complaint to Riot.
Let's go, man.
Over the past couple of weeks and asked them why is the clause there, and they wanted them to investigate it. Riot's LCS department previously approved the G2 and Cloud9 buyout, an agreement after it was signed in November 2020. The issue was elevated to Riot's global esports department given the involvement of the teams in both the LEC and LCS.
Less than 3.
So Riot had to look through this contract and give the green light if it was fine. Following the investigation, Riot determined the clause did not affect the star mid laner's team options for 2022. So they said it was a fine clause to have. Sources familiar with the investigation told Dot Esports. Riot Global found it did not impact PERKZ's 2021 and 2022 off-season prospects due to disagreements between Fnatic and Cloud9 over the cost of the buyout. So basically what this is saying is Cloud9 and Fnatic were talking in the off-season. This off-season, Cloud9 and Fnatic were talking. And Cloud9 was talking about selling PERKZ to Fnatic. But they didn't come to an agreement on the cost of how much PERKZ would be. So the fact that they weren't able to come to this agreement and wanted this buy to go ahead means that it didn't actually impact PERKZ's off-season in the first place. Had Fnatic been able to match the numbers C9 wanted on the buyout, then maybe they would have to investigate this more, but it hasn't impacted his off-season. So PERKZ will instead go to Vitality. So basically what that tells us is, yeah, Fnatic were interested in PERKZ. So anyone who says, Fnatic get PERKZ, buy PERKZ, why is Vitality getting it? Looks like Fnatic didn't come to the same numbers as C9 wanted.